Welcome back to Lists. We're counting down our top 10 TV couples. If you missed part 1, that would be numbers 10 through 6. We're here now for part 2, which is numbers 5 through 1. This is the big reveal.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Why don't you, since this is how it works, why don't you go ahead and give us number 5? Wise guy.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I know. Sorry. So if you listen to part 1, you heard Colby say at the end that this top 5 was going to make me mad. And I think he's probably saying that because it's like all couples from Lost. So it's unfortunate that here at number 5.
Oh, look at that. Well, I have
my one and only representative from the show Lost.
All right, I am trying to curse less. All right, but that's horse shit.
It's my one and only that made the top 10. I'm sorry.
All right, then it's got to be Sun and Jin.
Of course.
Knowing you, it's Sun and Jin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sun and Jin. All right, so Yeonjin Kim played Sun, and Daniel Day Kim played her husband and her father's gangster, Jin. And so I think why this is the best couple on Lost. I'll just go right to that.
False.
Well, why it is. I'll educate you then.
False.
It's because I think we spend the most time with them together, right? They're not part of any annoying triangle or quadrangle. They're
not annoying.
In the
well executed.
A little annoying. They're in the very first episode, all the way through the show. That's hard to say.
I'm not gonna. There's a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. So
yeah, for real. And I like how, when we first meet them, that we really don't like Jin. He's
oh my god, you hate Jin.
You hate Jin.
Jin's a jerk.
A complete jerk. But then, as in Lost fashion, you get lots of flashbacks and you learn so much about these characters and get to know them so well. And I like how, it starts that she can speak English and he can, and he doesn't even know that she can speak it. And then, of course, you learn where she learned how to speak it.
Oh,
and,
boy. The secrets these two have from each other.
And it's that broken place where they start that over the course of the horrible and harrowing events of the series, that they find each other and repair that relationship through that, I find so compelling.
Miraculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that final scene, not final, climactic scene in the submarine. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean.
In the submarine. Come on. I mean, that's fantastic.
Right. We did top 10 movies that would make you cry, right? Yeah. If we did top 10, I don't know, screen moments or something along those lines, I'd make a strong bet that would be on both of our lists. I can guarantee it would be on mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the all-time TV tearjerkers
for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is my couple from Lost, Sun and Jin, and yeah, it's a great TV couple, and yeah, there you go.
All right,
number 5.
All right, yeah, fair. I mean, I don't appreciate many of the comments included in there. But I don't appreciate that that's the end of Lost's representation. But
yeah, I don't think it will be on this podcast, so we're fine.
You never know. I might surprise you here.
I'm not surprised at all. All right, go ahead.
All right. So number 5 for me. So I've done quite a few comedy ones in a row now. 7 and 6 both were comedy. But
yeah, true.
Number 5 is actually it has its very, very, very funny moments, but it is ultimately grounded in a very real drama. And it is from a former sticker pick, I believe, of yours.
Oh.
From our top 10 TV comedies.
Interesting. How is that possible? You haven't seen my sticker pick from the top 10 TV comedies.
Did I screw that up? Oh, maybe it was my sticker pick.
It probably is. You self-absorbed at. No, anyway.
I have no idea. Fleabag.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was yours.
It was mine. I was initially gonna say it was mine, and then I was like, no, wait a minute. I think Scott jumped me on that one. Whatever.
No. Okay.
Anyway, it's from the second season of Fleabag, and the relationship I chose is
Fleabag and Hot Priest. Yeah.
Fleabag and Hot Priest. Yep.
There you go.
Which legitimately are the names of the characters.
Yeah, I know. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, that's not just Scott
being an idiot. Yeah.
Cracking wise here. That is
Mhm.
as it appears in the credits. But yeah, for me, it's just a.
This one's tough. I don't want you to spoil.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil, and I'm not going to.
Okay.
All I'm gonna say is they really have a tremendous arc. She is this incredibly self-destructive person, with a heart of gold, who you root for so much, and you actually, I would actually say the people around her judge her to be more self-destructive than she may actually be.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
She really gets. I mean, they certainly judge the hell out of her. Like she gets.
I mean, certainly by season 2, I think the point of season 1 is that she solves that a little bit.
Yeah, by season 2, she's kind of got herself together pretty well, and the people around her are incapable of seeing her in that way. They only know her as this self-destructive, hedonistic
Fleabag. Yeah,
as Fleabag, right? Yeah,
right.
And so naturally, when she falls for a priest, it kind of is a.
You should say a Catholic priest who has
a Catholic
made
priest
a vow of celibacy.
Right. It creates serious problems for the way others perceive her, and I mean, she openly acknowledges it. Like, you got to be kidding me! I'm pretty sure did I just fall for a priest? Like, oh shit!
Right? Yeah, I know.
And it's kind of like an "of course you would" type of thing, or
of course.
But the way that it's framed, because the writing on this show is so good, is not like of course she would because she's that way. It's more of a of course this would happen to her because
of course the perfect guy would be a priest.
Right. The perfect guy for her would be completely unattainable.
Well, for her, yeah.
And they build this wonderful friendship and connection, and both of them struggle with the unspoken and then the spoken. And, I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, let's just stop.
Just because
it's so good.
It's so
and we're talking about 6 half-hour episodes. Like you can go watch this in an evening and you'll be all caught up.
And it's amazing that, I mean, I'm talking about number 5 here, right? Like, it's so beautifully done and they're both just two people suffering, misunderstood, alone in many ways. They find this connection with each other, and for each of them, they struggle with the fact that it feels impossible. And there's beauty in that tragedy. And in the exploration of it. So I'll leave it at that. It's excellent.
Yeah.
If you haven't followed up,
wholeheartedly
on Fleabag,
agree.
Fleabag is a must watch. I mean, and
if you saw the Emmys a little while ago, it cleaned up. So
we're not the only ones calling this show great, people, but we were among the first.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's 5.
All right, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
I knew you to be on board with that one. I'm wondering if you're playing coy right now and it's not on your list.
Interesting. We shall find out.
Yeah, we will.
All right, so we'll move on to my number 4 then.
Okay.
My number 4 is from a show that has made your list so far, back in part 1 of this podcast. I'm going with the actual best relationship from Parks and Recreation, Leslie and Ben.
Oh,
I love it in all its corniness. I'm sorry.
It's great. I'll give you that. It's not the best. It's not the best one on the show, but it's great.
It is. It's not the funniest. I'll grant you that. Okay. But it is my favorite.
Fair. All right.
It's my favorite.
We'll agree on that point.
Yeah. It's it's a great romance, friendship. It's I don't know. They're so supportive and loving, but not in an unrealistic way. It's really lovely, actually. And I especially like how the introduction of Ben and Chris really creates a new dynamic for the show and really takes it to another level. And that relationship between Leslie and Ben is, I think, also a big part of what kind of grounds it and gives it its backbone for the best part of its run.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% where that show found its legs.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I've talked about Parks and Rec before. Leslie and Ben, hashtag relationship goals. I don't know.
Oh God, you didn't just do that.
I did. Sorry, I apologize.
Do you own Cones of Dunshire?
No, I do own Settlers of Catan though.
Oh man.
Although that's not a super obscure one.
It's definitely super dorky.
I don't like it that much. There's too much luck involved.
Play Cards Against Humanity like everyone else.
I have. I can do both. I am a Renaissance man.
We have never played Cards Against Humanity together.
That's true. We would be the idiots just cracking each other up, and we would be the only ones to award each other.
What was that game we played in high school? It was around Christmas, or maybe it was college. It was college. We were back home for Christmas break, and your parents invited me over to.
That doesn't sound right.
No, it does. I know. Because I remember at the time
sorry,
being
Mom
like,
and Dad, sorry.
Is this some kind of a prank? What's happening here?
Are they finally going to off me when I walk through the door?
No, but remember we had a very nice dinner. Your dad and I talked about books, and then afterwards.
No, I don't remember this, but okay.
We played a game, and it was I want to say your grandparents were there too. But anyway,
maybe
we played this game, and a lot of it was like, it was one of those games where you say as few words as possible to get the other person to guess what the thing is, or you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you and
Vaguely,
I swept that thing in like 8 minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it was just like 2 words here or there. Or just make a face, and it was just like, oh, boom, got it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we started talking about board games. I was trying to remember which one that was because.
Fair enough.
I was also thinking that if we played Cards Against Humanity, I would know every single time which card was yours.
Oh, ditto. Yeah.
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 I'll tell you what. Yeah, you want to have fun? Play Cards Against Humanity with your in-laws.
Ooh.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've seen the picture I have of Hadley when she was probably like 2 months old, sitting in my lap holding quite a vulgar card.
Oh yes, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, she had woken up and we were in the middle of playing, and she was in my lap, and I just thought it would be hilarious. I kind of slipped it into her hand and leaned back and took a picture.
There you go.
So that'll be for future use. High school yearbook material.
There you go.
All right. Anyway, so Ben and Leslie. Sorry for the tangent.
Yep. No, it's all right.
We may have to do it. We may have to do a top 10 board games.
Hey, all right. Because you will not have played any of mine.
Yeah, but I'd like to find some new ones too.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, Leslie and Ben from Parks and Rec. I love their relationship. They made me cry several times. I think it's a really sweet, loving, wonderful relationship on somewhat sort of crass, zany TV comedy. But it works, and I love it.
Yeah, you're right. The thing that I think is best, for me at least, with their relationship is how incredibly supportive it is. And there's just never any doubt, when Ben gets a job running a campaign in DC, Leslie doesn't hesitate for a second to tell him to take it, and there's not any doubt in her mind that they're going to find a way to make that work. And it's just that kind of confidence and that kind of like, it doesn't matter how hard this is, it's not going to beat us.
It's odd that it is odd to see a supportive, loving relationship on television.
It really,
here we are.
Really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're a great one, and they're my number 4.
All right. Good pick. I like it, although I prefer my Parks and Rec picks.
Yours are funny.
Should have picked
Mine...
Jerry and his wife.
Oh,
Who was it that played his wife? Is it Christy Brinkley?
Yeah.
That's just so hilarious.
I know, it's good stuff.
Again, I told you, like, every relationship on Parks and Rec is nailed.
No, it's good stuff.
They just do an amazing job with it. Oh, yeah. The show is so good.
You're listening to Lists. This podcast is so much more fun when we get to interact with you. So send us your lists. Tell us when you agree or disagree with ours. Send us ideas for future topics you want us to do an episode on. You can do all this by emailing us at listthepod@gmail.com. That's liststhepod@gmail.com. You can also talk to us on social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them are at liststhepod. And you can always find every episode of this podcast, links to all of our social media, direct links to our sticker picks, and all kinds of other fun stuff on our website, liststhepodcast.com. And now let's get back to our top 10 TV couples.
All right, number 4 for me was almost number 3, but I bumped it because just the one that was hovering around it just meant too much to me. But this one is still near and dear to my heart.
All right. Is it from Lost?
It is not from Lost. It is from a show we have talked about, Top 10 TV comedies.
Oh.
I went with George Michael Bluth and Anne.
Her? What?
You're the one who let her in? You just let her in 5 minutes ago?
Oh, really?
She's really funny.
She better be.
Why so high up on the list for George Michael and Anne?
Yeah.
For exactly what you just heard. Any Arrested Development fan, I feel bad for anyone out there named Anne who has friends who watch Arrested Development, because they'll literally every time that person who, hey, Anne just texted you, her? It's just such an amazing line. The fact that Michael can never get her name right. Calls her egg. He calls her plant.
Oh yeah, plant. I like that one. And then George Michael is telling her, "Oh, it's a term of endearment. You really plant yourself places." Gosh.
And just the way that George Michael tortures himself when he does the Charlie Brown walk when Plant breaks up with him.
Yeah.
And he's heartbroken over it, and his dad's only response is her.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's just so good. The comedy they milk out of that awkward, painful teenage relationship is fantastic. And
I agree with you, but I'm going to have to push back and say I don't really love them on this list. Like,
sure,
it would make my top 5 like jokes to be made about a couple, but like as an actual couple,
Yeah, and I agree. This is definitely a big old stretch, but it's my list.
And hey,
so
that is your right. Yeah.
It's my list. I made it. If you don't like it, send us your own. I love hearing people's lists. I love
George, Michael, and Anne all the way at number 4. All right.
Who?
Them? Really? No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I like it.
Oh man. All right, yeah. So that's number 4 for me. Kind of a silly one, but man, that relationship provided me so much joy.
Hey, then that's, perfectly makes perfect sense to me.
All right, well, what do you got at 3?
Yeah, we're getting up there now. So this one I thought about for a long time, and I decided 3 was the good spot. All right, so I have from the seminal, I guess, television show that aired from 1999 to 2007 on HBO, kind of ushered in the quote-unquote golden age or new golden age or peak TV or whatever you want to call it.
Tony and Carmela Soprano.
Absolutely. I have Carmela and Tony from The Sopranos at number 3.
Great pick. Tell us.
Played by the great Edie Falco and James Gandolfini.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're, Tony Soprano is a gangster, and his wife Carmela knows it and stays with him and tries to kind of be a normal housewife through that.
Yeah, knows it, doesn't talk about it,
but also in a pinch knows exactly where the cash is hidden in the ceiling,
and will gladly enjoy the spoils.
Yes. He has many affairs.
Oh, yeah.
She has a few. She thinks about some others. She's terrified and scared of him.
Well, yeah, everybody is.
She also loves him. She's addicted a bit to the money and the lifestyle that his line of work brings. And it's kind of a violent, hateful, still loving relationship. And, they have Meadow and AJ, their children, and they're actually kind of great TV parents.
Yeah, in a weird way, like in a weird, messed up way they are.
Yeah, and it's just the acting, Edie Falco and James Gandolfini are so great. The show is a seminal, like I said, like all-time show. And yeah, it's the classic. Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say. It's Carmela and Tony.
I think he did it really well. I mean, part of what makes The Sopranos as legendary as it is the fact that it takes the genre of the sort of Goodfellas, East Coast, Italian mafia genre, and it just
puts it in a suburban.
It turns it into a family drama. Like that show drama is about marital problems and dealing with them, and raising children and the struggles of that, and it's and then also the problems of what happens when somebody steals money from you and you got to kill them.
Yeah, and being a murderous, villainous, terrible human being sometimes causes you to have panic attacks and whatnot.
Yeah, it's occupational hazard.
It's a tough life. But yeah, I don't know what else. I don't think I have anything more. It's The Sopranos.
Number 3. Yeah, I was a person who took a long time to get to The Sopranos. I think I watched The Sopranos last year for the first time, and I binged.
Oh wow!
I binged the entire show probably in 2 months during the school year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I had a lot of very rough mornings because The Sopranos is so good.
Yeah, it's like I can do one more.
Yeah, right. No, I can't. But
so how'd you come out on The Sopranos? Classic for a reason, or overrated, or where'd you come out?
Oh, classic for a reason. 100%. 100%.
Okay. Absolutely.
I can't imagine tolerating any argument against it. It's
agreed.
It's incredible. And like you said, it ushered
and we don't want to get into spoilers. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like you said, it really ushered in this new era of peak TV, and so many of the showrunners come from that,
right?
That tree, their branches on that tree.
Yeah, you can really, it's like BS, like before Sopranos and after Sopranos,
right?
In the history of American TV.
The creator of Mad Men was a writer on The Sopranos.
Right. And so we don't want to get into spoilers, but I'm just curious that since you say you watched it recently, was the final
beautiful, perfect
few minutes at all confusing or not clear to you?
I love the fact that it is ambiguous and that it's open to interpretation. I think that's a bold move. I appreciate it, and I like the lack of certainty.
Okay.
I'm a person who can absolutely sit with that and love it. That's not something that makes me mad at all. Is it clear to me? Do I have clear beliefs based on my interpretation of that whole scene? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm exactly the same. All right. Just curious.
I mean, what a what a way to end a show. I mean, I remember when it
Yeah.
happened. Everybody,
Yeah, there were stories and everything.
people panicked. They were calling their cable company. They were furious. They thought,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
like that's a brilliant way to end this thing that people have invested so much in.
Yeah.
It's so gutsy and so good. And one thing I will always appreciate in art is gutsiness.
Yeah, it's gutsy in that, it chooses not to end on plot, but on character.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. The Sopranos
I appreciate
brilliant.
that.
I think there's probably a set of the population that avoids The Sopranos for the exact reason that kind of, they've heard enough Martin Scorsese lines and and Rolling Stone songs and all of that. They're just tired of it. It's been done. But The Sopranos really, that is just it's just a piece of the pie chart. The depth of that show is so much more. It's the characters. It's, if you're avoiding it for that reason, don't, because you're missing out on really, really just fantastic storytelling.
And the third best TV couple of all time.
Well, according to some people.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Well, now for the real third best TV couple of all time.
All right. Hilarious.
But we've already
from Lost.
We've already
blah
talked
blah blah.
About them. From Lost, we have
Jin and
Sun, and
yeah,
not gonna.
You're supposed to let me guess them all.
Well, you had that one.
Well, I had to guess the order, man.
I figured you knew that.
Okay.
Anyway.
I got your order. You owe me $5, basically, is what's going on here.
We never bet anything.
I said it, and you didn't disagree, so that's basically a handshake.
I did not hear you say it.
He never listens to me, I swear. All right.
Well, give me a reason to, and I'll start. Oh. Yeah, that was pretty good. Patting myself on the back. Anyway, Jin and Sun. Scott, you handled this really well, so I'm not going to go flogging that. It's the transformation from how you view this couple at the start to how you view this couple.
Mm-hmm.
The very first thing you feel about this couple is, oh my God, Jin is a jerk. Sun needs to leave him.
You want her to leave him or kill him.
They play on cultural stereotypes in the beginning.
Yes, very well.
Brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
She is a submissive, quiet, silent Asian woman, and Jin is a dominant, jealous, hyperprotective man. And then they unravel the hell out of that. And neither one of them is anything close to that in reality. And the way that they unravel it is elegant, is masterful. It's like a great opera unfolding. A great orchestral piece building. It's just note for note brilliant. And their backstory, the way that their love started out, as beautiful as it was, the way that it became tainted and why. And like you said, the secrets that they have from each other and the place that they start off at is just so bad. I mean, the entire reason that they're on the flight that crashed to begin with, right?
Right.
Which I'm not going to spoil, but the entire reason they're even on that flight. I mean, to get to where they end up and to start it off with two characters who don't utter a word of English for probably the first, it must have been half a season, if not more.
No.
Was it sooner than that?
Michael figures her out early on.
Yeah, he did kind of. Anyway, but the depth of it doesn't. Anyway, the point is, they really have something special and beautiful. And I think
I don't know if they have it is the right word. They work at and get to a point where,
that's a better way of saying it. You're absolutely right. Like
which is what's so good about the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, my gosh, they push through.
Yeah.
Just every mountain put in front of them. to
normal everyday happenings on that island. Nothing interesting at all.
And not
happens.
just to create a relationship where they tolerate each other, but to create
right.
a relationship where they are deeply in love with one another and where past sins have been forgiven. And it's just it's magnificent. And with the climactic moment that you mentioned, and gosh, I don't want to ruin this for anyone who hasn't seen Lost. It's just
don't.
I mean, you sit there just wrapped, just completely emotionally sucked in. I mean, I can still remember everything about the first time I saw that scene because it was so extraordinarily powerful. So yeah, on a great show, they stand out, which is saying something.
Yeah. All right, so you have Sun and Jin at 3.
Sun and Jin at 3.
All right. I can see how I might be mad in the future, but we'll move on.
Maybe I'm done with it. Maybe I'm done.
Yeah, maybe you are.
I'm not.
We'll move on to number 2. I know. Jesus. All right. Okay. So, number 2, shall I go there?
I think I'm going to guess that our number 2's a lie.
No, they definitely don't.
All right, never mind. Oh, no. You have this all the way at number 2, you son of a... Really?
What?
It's from How I Met Your Mother, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, because that's your number 1.
No.
Bull.
What are you talking about? You're a terrible guesser. Just leave the guessing to me.
So
Man.
that couple from How I Met Your Mother didn't make your list, period?
No.
That's really hard for me to believe. I'm very shocked by that.
Sorry.
What?
No, not quite top 10.
Now I don't know what to do. I'm thrown for a loop here.
Well, okay.
I feel like my whole world was flipped upside down. I don't know where you're going right now.
I can tell. It's a show that has been mentioned on a podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
It has not made a list yet, but now here we are. It is something that you said that you're going to watch.
So I have not watched it.
You haven't.
Is it from?
It aired from.
So it's
2014 to 2017.
Okay.
From The Leftovers.
Wow. Whoa.
I have at number 2 Nora Durst and Kevin Garvey from The Leftovers, as played by Carrie Coon and Justin Theroux.
Number 2?
Yeah, it's a shocking upset that it's not number 1. I'll just say that.
All right, now I really got to watch this show.
You really, really do. Oh my goodness, Nora and Kevin.
And remind us again, the people who worked on that show, where did they work previously?
On many other things. Tom Perrotta was an author. He's written
No.
things.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know. Lindelof worked on Lost a little bit.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, this is better. Yeah, well, I went there. You're gonna like it if you'll finally find some time and watch it.
This is really unexpected. And now it did instantly make me want to watch it.
Number 2 all time, almost number 1. Nora and Kevin. I don't want to spoil anything. They're just such broken people, and that they can slowly find each other, and the performances and what they go through, and how their relationship is, and the series itself, the way it comes to a conclusion. It's just unbelievably fantastic writing and performances, and it's beautiful, it's deep, I don't know, it's one of my favorite TV shows. The more I think about it, it just keeps moving up my list. Yeah, Nora and Kevin, man.
I mean, it's hard for me to respond verbally because I know. I have zero familiarity with this.
And that's okay.
But I plan on getting some.
Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to when you get to watch it. And like I said, this came up before on our top 10 movies that made you cry. When I said, if it counted as a movie, it would be my number 1. This show made me cry so many times. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say. It's so good. Everyone needs to watch The Leftovers. Like, it is, the characters are just so incredibly well written and real. It's like Lost on steroids almost.
Whoa. That's bold talk, buddy boy.
I know. It's so good, man. It's so good. And Nora and Kevin, it's like the first few episodes you wouldn't ever think that this would be. It slowly gets there and reveals itself to be the backbone of the show, and the show is rightly able to see that it is its own backbone, and it behaves accordingly. Anyway, I don't want to spoil anything.
All right, that's fair.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to check this one out like ASAP.
And Carrie Coon as Nora is like, she should have an Oscar. Like, I understand it's a TV show, but she should have an Oscar.
Is she now? Because I did see the first episode. I'm not gonna ask questions on the air here.
Is she the one who gave the speech
in the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
I'm there's the people who don't talk.
No,
she's not in that group.
No, in the first episode, she's given a speech. Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah,
you'll see.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So there you go at number 2 from The Leftovers.
Wow. I'm surprised.
There you go.
I feel like I have no idea what your number 1 is gonna be.
Oh yeah, you probably don't.
Huh.
All right, give me your number 2.
I'm still processing this.
Yeah.
Okay. So my number 2 is, I don't want to say it's a cheapie, but
cheapie at number 2. It better not be.
I don't think it's a cheapie because it's just so well done, and it
Okay.
It really, I feel like it broke all of the rules of how couples were supposed to be done on TV shows.
Interesting.
At number 2, I have Jim and Pam from The Office.
Oh, okay, sure.
And the reason I have them so high up, I mean, obviously, phenomenal couple, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things I always appreciated about the way they handled this, the writers handled this on The Office, was nothing ever went into that cookie cutter that has been set up for will they, won't they, right?
That is true.
Yes.
It was
Jim and Pam start off as a will they, won't they. Absolutely. And there's definitely the, Jim goes off and is with Karen and has the relationship there, and that complicates things. And
some classic TV stuff.
There's a little bit of that there. But for example, when they do finally get together, right? So you remember, right? So let's go to the nearest comp here, right? Which would be probably Ross and Rachel, I would say.
Yeah, probably.
Right? So they're kind of the mold, which I'm sure goes back to something else, but whatever. Let's use them as the example.
Okay.
Remember the moment early in Friends where Ross and Rachel first get together.
Yeah.
And how and at the time it was, because for its time and all that, it was tonally good and it worked and all of that. And now we watch it and we're like, oh, good God, right?
Well, because we know of how annoying it gets.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe if it had stopped there. But so many of those times where Ross and Rachel get together, it is just, it builds and builds and builds, and then boom, there's this huge moment that they really linger on and all of that. When Jim and Pam finally get together, do you remember how they handled that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just spoil it. If you haven't seen The Office, then you need to watch it, and you're way behind. So I'm going to just go ahead and say the spoiler. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it. So Pam is in the little office they've set up for these private interviews, and she's talking about how it looks like that's just it for her and Jim, because, she always thought it would work out and it's just not going to. And then Jim opens the door and he has come back because he realizes that, he's not going to give up on the chance to be with Pam for whatever else he has. So, and all he does, he opens the door, he asks Pam if she wants to go to dinner that night. And she says, yeah, sure. And he closes the door and walks out. That's it. And she just kind of like smiles, shrugs her shoulders.
Not a big, rock song playing,
Nope.
rain in the background, run up and kiss each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
None of that. Yeah.
And look, Jim and Pam have their moments where, like the scene where he proposes to her is a little bit more dramatic, but it works, And anyway, though we've talked about this before on the pod, is the way that
we have
their relationship does not do that whole back and forth. We're gonna break up, and we were on a break, all that stuff that
thankfully
that Ross and Rachel
they learned their lessons,
ruined for all of people, And again, not to slag off Friends too much, because there is a degree to which it did work on that show. It's just not. It doesn't hold up as art the way that some of the other stuff does. But yeah, Jim and Pam, they just. I love that their relationship started out as just this really deep, meaningful friendship, and they connected to each other, and they were attracted to each other, and there were these obstacles in their way, and it just lends a depth to what they have and the support they give each other. Like when Pam wants to go to art school, Jim's response is like, she says, I got in, but I don't know how we're going to do it, and the commute and blah, 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 blah. And he says, you're doing it. Like, just puts an end to it, right? You're doing it. Like, this is what you want. We'll figure it out. And like that kind of support is, it's like you talked about with Ben and Leslie, right? That kind of thing is, it's refreshing to see on TV rather than
that's true.
Rather than milk the distance for drama and all that, which is just so easy to do.
Right.
So anyway, Jim and Pam.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So Jim and Pam, number 2.
Makes sense. And I think, that's probably going to be a popular pick. In the tradition of pissing off the Office fans, did not put them on my list. They again just missed.
Dude,
sorry, Office fans.
I don't know how Jim and Pam aren't top 10.
I don't know. I think in my mind, Parks and Rec is just better than The Office, and Leslie and Ben I like better than Jim and Pam.
Well, I'm not saying as a replacement for that couple.
I know. I think in my mind, I'm almost like I've got that couple already on my top 10.
Oh, I see what
you see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And so they slip a little. I'm gonna get emails, but I swear I really like The Office. It's very good. I promise. Be gentle.
Nope. Send them. Fire away, people. Fire away.
All right. Whatever.
Thanks for listening to Lists. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Never miss an episode by being sure you subscribe. Also, if you're enjoying the show, help us get the word out and reach a wider audience by leaving us a rating and review. We appreciate your support. Now let's get back to the list.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. We're down to number 1, man.
Here it is.
Our top television couple ever.
All right.
And yours is Jack and Kate from Lost, which is boring, but mine's really good. I'm not going to confirm or deny. I'm going to wait my turn like a good co-host would and not be a jerk. I know. I'm sorry. That was kind of jerkish. All right. My bad. So I don't think you've seen this show. So we'll see. Okay. So at number 1,
The Americans.
Oh shit. How did you do that? That's what I do.
I know you too well.
Damn. Have you seen The Americans?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, damn it. Now I know how you feel all the time. At number 1, I have Elizabeth and Philip Jennings, or I guess I should say Nadezhda and Misha from The Americans, played by Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys, who in between season 1 and 2 began dating. Around season 4, had their first child together and are still together now, for all I know. So there's some chemistry there, to say the least. Huh. So if you haven't seen The Americans, it is the story of a couple KGB spies posing as an average suburban American couple in the 1980s in Washington, D.C. So Philip and Elizabeth are pretending to, own a travel agency, and they have some kids, and they live a normal, unremarkable life. And then at night, they are Soviet spies in DC, and they're carrying out various missions, and they're assassinating people and putting on fun disguises and doing cool spy stuff, right? But really, the whole what the series is about, the central emotional core of the show is the relationship between Philip and Elizabeth. So their marriage was arranged by the KGB. Like, they did not know each other. They just got assigned to the assignment of infiltrating the US. And it's like, yeah, you guys are going to be married. Make sure to have some kids so it looks believable,
right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Co-workers.
Yeah. And in the first episode of the show, so I'm not spoiling anything, Philip finally comes clean to Elizabeth that his feelings have become real for her, and which surprises her because she is a little more hardcore and loyal to the USSR than he is, and it's always been just a mission to her. And so this is, oh, really? And so the story of the show is really, yeah, kind of how that relationship and with their children and how it changes and through their missions, and she starts very loyal to the cause, and he doesn't really have a lot of animosity against the U.S. He becomes friends with their next door neighbor, who hilariously is an FBI agent. And yeah, it's just such a strange, amazing, loving, complex, messed up relationship. Like, oftentimes her missions is, like getting information from male officials in D.C., and they often ask her to use her body to achieve those missions, right?
Yeah.
And then she has to come home to him, and he knows what she's doing. He's a spy too. Like, he has to do it sometimes as well. And then their children are growing up in Reagan 80s America and are having, some thoughts and about Russia and about the world around them. And it's like, how do we parent these children without blowing our cover? And it's just a fascinating, incredibly good show. No one watched it, which is sad. But thankfully, it got its full 6 seasons or whatever. It got its ending. And so now it's finished and you can go watch it. And all of you should, because it is my sticker pick of the week. Here at number 1. I think the first time I've done my number 1 is the sticker pick. But yeah, so our sticker pick is usually the one we're most recommending people actually track down and check out. We try to pick things that are maybe a little underseen or underappreciated, and I think The Americans definitely fits that. Not enough people watched and know how great this show is, and this relationship is everything of what this show is, and it's so good.
Yeah, I think The Americans, from what I understand, kind of, I don't want to say got lost in, but was in that era of, Breaking Bad, Mad Men, all of that. All these great shows.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of those, and then the Game of Thrones train,
right,
also cut it off on the tracks.
So it kind of never got a fair shake, but critics always loved it. I mean, I remember I've been reading things for years about this show, and it's been for years on a list of things that I want to check out. So I'm gonna have to.
Really, you have to. It's so good. Like, all these critics loved it for a reason. I'm telling you.
Right.
My wife and I watched it together. She loved it. It's a great show. Yeah.
I mean,
so good.
The cultural critic I respect more than any other I've read in the last 30 years.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's nice of you to say.
No, yeah.
Ouch.
Wow.
Ouch.
It was nice try. But there's a writer, a Canadian writer, a Canadian American writer named Stephen Marsh, who, I came across him as he wrote an article in Esquire magazine every month. And they gave him 1,000 words on culture every month, and he would take a different topic and just slay it. It was, every single one of them's amazing. They're so good that I would cut every single one out of them, and I have a file folder where I still have them all. And I've asked him repeatedly when he's going to collect them and publish them as a book, and he always likes it, but does not tell me when. Which
Oh,
I'm
okay.
guessing is his way of saying, I'd really love to do that, but Esquire owns the rights to them.
That may be the decoding of that message. Yeah,
I'm going to decode that right there. Mr. Marsh, I read you loud and clear, buddy. But anyway, he really was big on that show and was big on
oh, it's so good.
how it is probably the most accurate depiction of the way that relationships work and the secrets and feelings and struggles that all these relationships go through, but it's told through that lens that you described so well.
Yeah, it's a good hook for a show, right? Like, that's interesting, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it might probably, I'm guessing that there's probably some Russia fatigue right now.
It's, yeah.
But
it's funny because your main characters are the Russians, and, you know, that's who we follow and root and care about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, beyond the,
so you have
the USSR and Reagan America and all that, it's the characters, really.
Right. So Americans playing Russians playing Americans.
Yes.
That one goes deep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can't disagree there. I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but I know that a lot of the writers I respect most have written very positively about it. So
yeah, excellent show.
I guess they'll agree.
My number one TV couple
of all time,
Elizabeth and Philip.
All right, yeah, that's a great choice. So now it's time for the intense suspense of my number one pick.
Sorry, buddy.
Look, come on. Anybody who knows me knew that this was a foregone conclusion the second we announced the topic.
Yes. Yeah.
My number one pick from Lost, Jack and Kate. And yes, a lot of that is personal, just because I love each of those characters as individuals so much, and I do really appreciate them together. There's a remarkable chemistry.
True.
I think that
I feel like, and we can just get right into the discussion, I think.
Sure, go for it, yeah.
I feel like why they didn't make my list is that, I mean, every character or main character on that show is very well written, right? Like, I think that's why both you and I hold that show in such high regard, is the characters of that show.
Absolutely. It's all about character.
I would say out of the main characters, the writing does the most disservice to the Kate character.
In what way?
Oftentimes, she's reduced to having nothing more to do than to glance longingly at Jack, or go off on her own and get caught because she's trying to prove something to Jack, or I don't know. At times, in the present day on the island, they don't give her a lot of interesting stuff to do.
I can see that argument. I think that there's room to push back on it, but I can certainly see it, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. I remember watching Lost and joking, like, oh, they're walking into the woods, it's going to start raining so that they can have Kate in a wet t-shirt again, right?
Well, yeah, there was that whole angle too.
There was very much an aspect of, let's how
many shots of her ass can we get?
Right. Like how often can we show how beautiful Evangeline Lilly is,
right. Yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of, perhaps, I mean, her character starts the show. See, to me, I read it differently. Because her character starts the show pretending to be weak and uninteresting.
Well, yeah, that's just for the first arc. Yeah.
And so, but there also is a wounded, her whole life has been about proving something to
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm
and
just
to
saying,
everyone.
Personally, I found out of our main characters, her the least interesting.
I wouldn't say out of our main characters, she's the least interesting. I definitely think that there was room for more. I can agree with that. But I think there are other main
And I
main
guess that just sours that coupling just enough for me. And then you combine it with the fact that she had equally as good chemistry, not as much thematic weight, with Sawyer.
Yeah.
That just kind of, I don't know. It was just enough to throw it off into my barely missed my list.
For me, I appreciated the fact that she had chemistry with both of them, and that
That's
they're
true.
two very different types of men, but who are also so much more alike than they think. And the reason they don't get along is really fundamentally that they're a lot more alike than they want to admit they are. You know,
Well, yeah.
Sawyer thinks
Hmm.
he's king badass. Jack thinks he's king nobility. And Sawyer's got a lot more nobility than he thinks he does. And Jack's got a lot more badassness than he thinks he
I
does.
think that speaks a little bit to what I'm trying to articulate. Like, from like Kate is, you can see the appeal in Jack and a similar, as you're saying, slightly different, but more similar appeal in Sawyer, right? And that's developed, but the reverse is not so much, other than she's hot and supportive. Like, why are Jack and Sawyer so into Kate?
Mm.
Like, I don't think that writing is as strong going both ways on the street.
I think, see, I would argue that they're both into her for the same reason, is that she calls both of them on their bullshit. Like when
Yeah, a little bit.
Jack's avoidance of leadership and his reluctance and all of that and his fear of failure, etc., she calls him on it constantly. And with Sawyer, she's the one who can go up to him and say, give me the inhaler right now. You know, she's the one
Yeah.
who sees that he is not what he pretends to be, and the reason she sees that is that she's doing the same thing he's doing, right? Living a double life.
I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing. I'm just saying there's less.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not sure that I agree on it.
Well, and that's obviously fair too.
That's obviously clearly I would not. It's number one.
Well, yeah, of course.
To me, the way that Jack and Kate act as touchstones for one another. I mean,
well, sure. Yeah.
what they're willing to sacrifice for each other, I think, is part of what I love about their relationship. Jack, on multiple occasions, is willing to be the one who is going to lose everything so that Kate and everyone else can get away and be happy. And I think about the moment where he's doing surgery on Ben.
Yeah.
And he gets
the
radio, and she's distraught, because she knows like what he's doing means he's not coming back. And he tells her, like, go, I'm being serious, and
don't come back for me.
Don't come back for me. Exactly. And of course, what does she do?
Well, she comes back.
Yeah. And then you have obviously the very end where,
well, yeah, we don't want to spoil
all right, I don't want to give that away either. But I think one of the most beautiful moments I've ever experienced in a television show, in a movie, in anything really, is the single line that Kate, the way she looks at Jack when he finally arrives at the funeral at the end of the very end.
Yeah.
when he arrives at the
be very careful with spoilers, but yes.
Kate looks at him and all she says is, and he has no idea really in that moment who she is, right?
Yeah, not yet.
For reasons we won't spoil.
Right.
And she looks at him and says, I have missed you so much. And it's just, there's so much power and emotion in that statement. And the depth of their bond is just,
well, you and I
lovely.
Are in full agreement on loving the finale of Lost.
Yeah, and again, I'm with people who only saw it once in agreeing. The first time I saw it, I was not all on board.
True.
I was half and half. The second time I saw it, I was all in. The third time I saw it, I was more all in.
Yeah, which I think may even be more to do with your ages at those viewings than the viewing count itself.
Probably true. And I think, given some of the thematic elements that go along with that finale, for me to love it, knowing who I am and where I stand on a lot of those things, for me to love that ending the way that I do
Yeah.
I think really says a lot about the quality of
I agree.
whether or not it's good or bad.
That is probably the thing that was able to boost me to where I liked it the first time.
Right, is that
angle.
It's a little
Yeah.
more within your personal values and life.
Yeah.
I can see that. But yeah, that I all along that relationship between the two of them and the will they won't they thing never interested me with them at all. Not even a little.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't think that was played too much. I mean, it was, and it was
a little tiny bit too much,
and,
but
and it was
the show's
good.
defense,
It was good TV, you know, and
yeah, in the show's defense, this was back on, regular broadcast TV. They had to fill up 23 episodes a season or whatever it was.
Right. We're not talking about HBO. We're not talking about AMC. We're talking about ABC. Like,
I think if that show had come out on HBO like 10 years later, it would have been just as amazing. It just would have been a much tighter, a lot of the fat trimmed.
Yes, I agree. And there definitely was fat, you know.
No, I mean, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I think what I like about Jack and Kate at the end of the day is they see each other.
True.
They see each other. Jack's ability to, even in the first episode, tell Kate, it doesn't matter who you were, who any of us were off of this island. Here we are. We all get to start over. And she sees through to the core of him. They make each other stronger. They make each other better. They bring out the best in each other. At every turn, those two bring out the absolute best in one another. No matter what they're going through, whether or not they're together, they bring out the best in one another. And I think that is what makes it so powerful and important to me.
Makes sense to me, man.
Is they're their best version of themselves because of the other person.
All right. Well, that does it.
Yeah.
Those are our top 10 TV couples, man. Why don't you go ahead and run down your whole list for us real quick?
All right. It's time for the rundown. All right. So at number 10, I have Schmidt and Cece from New Girl. At number 9, which is my sticker pick for the week, I'm going with From Happy Endings. Way too short-lived. I'm going with Jane and Brad. At number 8, I have Desmond and Penny from Lost. At number 7, I have April and Andy from Parks and Rec. Number 6, I have the hilarious Ron Swanson and Tammy 2 from Parks and Rec. At number 5, I have Fleabag and Hot Priest from Fleabag. At number 4, George Michael Bluth and her. At number 3, Sun and Jin from Lost. At number 2, Jim and Pam from The Office. And at number 1, Jack and Kate from Lost.
All right. A lot of variety there.
Lost and Parks and Rec represent 40% of my list.
Yeah. Hey, it's
no, sorry. 50% of my list.
Yeah. Yep. No, I was letting it slide.
This is why I fought for
it. All
right.
I know. All right. So at number 10, I have Lucy and Ricky from I Love Lucy. At number 9, I have Tammy and Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights. At 8, I have Monica and Chandler from Friends. At 7, I have Don and Betty Draper from Mad Men. At number 6, I have Six and Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica. At 5, I also have Sun and Jin from Lost. At 4, I've got Leslie and Ben from Parks and Rec. At 3, I have Carmela and Tony from The Sopranos. At number 2, I have Nora Durst and Kevin Garvey from The Leftovers. And number 1, Philip and Elizabeth Jennings from The Americans.
It's a good list. I am going to object to leaving Jim and Pam off for Chandler and Monica.
That's fair. It's a personal list. What can I say?
Right. That's the whole gist of this, is that...
is The Office a better show than Friends? Yes, it is. But, this is a list of the couples, not the show.
And
for me personally, I really liked Monica and Chandler when I was a high school kid watching Friends. I'm old.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like Friends started, I remember I was
in middle
in
school.
fourth grade. No, it was earlier than that.
Oh, elementary school. Yeah, maybe
fifth.
Yeah,
maybe
we're definitely
fifth
old.
grade. Yeah, Friends had a long run.
Yeah, it
It
did.
went from
A
elementary
little too
school
long. Let's
through
be
college.
honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were definitely like the whole like Joey and Rachel thing. My God.
Oh, that was a train wreck. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Our top 10 TV couples. And we'll take a quick little break and we'll come right back to talk about next week's list.
And we're back. We are ready to talk about next week's list topic. Scott, what do we got?
All right. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is another category that neither of us came up with. This was a listener submission. So please keep sending those in.
I love it.
We'd love to do topics that you guys pick.
I love doing the listener submissions. They're hard.
Yeah, this is already going to be a really tough one. So we are doing a top 10 characters you love to hate. Love to hate.
Love to hate. A lot of ways you could take that.
A lot of ways. I think obviously we're just saying characters because we're going to open this up to movies, TV, and books and all that stuff, right? Anywhere you want to take a character from?
Yeah, I think any medium is good. It gives us wide range.
Yeah, lots of choices.
Yeah.
All right.
And
any other rules you can think of for this one?
Oh boy. I don't want to define what hate means. You know, if it's like an anti-hero, like whatever. I'm not even going to name examples. I'll save it for the pod.
Yeah, just a straight up villain, whatever.
Or if it's just someone like you legitimately hate them, but you actively enjoy the hate. Like, you need the hate.
Okay.
You could go either way there, and I think it would be valid.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
I think this is going to be a tough one. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, all right. So that sounds like all we need to say, I guess. Top 10 characters you love to hate, and however you want to interpret that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and before we go, quick note. We've been performing reasonably well on a number of, ironically, lists. And it's really nice to see that, and that's helping us get the word out, but we want to take that to the next level. We want to see how high we can jump up those rankings and really get ourselves out there so that people are seeing it and thinking, I got a few minutes, I'll check this out. And the way that we do that is by having people subscribe and by having people rate us. So if you haven't yet, I would ask you very kindly and humbly to please.
I demand that you know. Okay.
Go on your phone, whatever your phone definitely has an app built in for podcasting. Click on that, search us up, list the podcast. You'll find us. Click subscribe. It'll let you know when a new episode has come, or you can turn off notifications and you can just go in and take a look at it whenever you want to check it out.
Yeah.
And then while you're there, please, if you're enjoying what we're doing, go ahead and take a second to give us a star rating and leave a couple words of what you think. It's a tremendous help so far. The feedback has been excellent, helpful to us and helpful to listeners. Where did we have a listener from, Scott?
Denmark,
right? We got a listener from Denmark because of you, because of the work you're doing. We really appreciate that, and we're having a lot of fun doing this, and we hope you're having fun listening. That's all I have.
And we've got a lot of ideas for this podcast, and the more listeners we get, the more resources that will come with that will allow us to do all kinds of fun and cool things for all of you. So, thanks for all the support so far, and anything more you can give us will be awesome, and we'll be very appreciative forever.
Absolutely. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe and let your friends know.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll see you all next week.
See you next week. Characters you love to hate.
Ooh,
I love to hate Scott.
Oh my God.